What's up everyone, Fritz here again with another episode of Sneakerhead Ambition, and today I've got another live cop for you. Today I'm going to be going over the Yeezy slide drop that was this past Monday. It's about Thursday right now, so that was about 3 or 4 days ago. That was Monday the 22nd they dropped, so I've got a breakdown and footage for you of that. And then also, this should be very applicable to the Yeezy foam drop, which will be tomorrow. That's going to be Friday the 26th, I believe. So what went down in this should be, like I said, applicable to that. So take what you will from this, and hopefully that can help you perform better tomorrow. I definitely did my best to get a full setup ready. I was pretty happy with my performance and the setup in the end. But going into this, this was a Monday, so I'd been at SneakerCon DC all weekend. I'd been there since 3 a.m. on Saturday until close. 3 a.m., 4 a.m. on Sunday, pretty much until close. So I was like deliriously tired going into this, but again, that's not an excuse, just reasoning. But I was thrilled with that experience. I definitely learned a lot. There's a lot of aspects to reselling, right? You hear me talk about some of them. You've got FBA, you've got eBay, you've got selling in person, you've got conventions. There's an endless list of ways to sell sneakers. And that's definitely an avenue that I'm going to be pursuing in the future, just selling at shows, networking, building relationships with other sellers and buyers in the area and just in general in this country. I will be making an entire video on that. I believe that'll be my next one, or the live cop for the foams will be. But, you know, just look out for that. I did some interviews with people there, just kind of picked people's brains about what was going on, followed some vendors around, and just kind of saw what it really would be like to sell there. So that will be an interesting video. And like I said, I will be going to more conventions and shows in the future. I will be at Got Sole in New York this weekend. So if you're going to be there, let me know. I did run into some of y'all at the DC one, and I heard a couple people online say they couldn't stop me, right, to say what's up. Say what's up, right? I'm really friendly, I promise. I'm never going to just blow you off. And if I look at you like I have no clue who you are, tell me who you are, right? A lot of you all I met online, and I feel like an ass, but you know, I look forward to meeting y'all at more conventions in the future, but that is what I've been doing this previous weekend. And just heading into this, I had a pretty good setup, but there was a lot that I had going on right before this. Anyways, in regards to this drop, they did, per usual, pretty much drop everything at 10 a.m. I expect this to be the go-to format for them moving forward. I'm not even going to expect 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., right? Like, that would be nice because it spreads everything out and you can really run hard for DSG, Foots, Finish Line, Shopify, Yeezy Supply, right? Nordstrom, just all the things, right? So that definitely throws kind of a monkey wrench into things. It definitely affects which bots you can use for which sites. It affects how you use your Gmails, which Gmails, whether or not you're running AYCD, how many bots you have running on a server. There's a lot to coordinate and just plan. So again, I keep being naive and hoping for the best and hoping that they go back to dropping at 7, 8, 9, 10, right? So you have these clear blocks to bot certain sites, but that's clearly not going to happen because anybody that designed that to mess with us is clearly seeing that that is yielding pretty good results for them, right? People just quite frankly can't run all of those sites at once. I have been working on getting my servers up to a point and quantity where I can run everything no matter what, because I need to do that, right? I see people hitting FNL, Nordstrom, DSG, all these other sites, Shopify. So that's definitely going to be a focus of mine over the coming weeks and months, is just making sure that I really am able to hit on all sites. Because today I did have a good day. I hit 31 pairs on Yeezy Supply, but that's just Yeezy Supply, right? And I need to make more of an effort to hit those other sites, even if they're happening right when Yeezy Supply is, because I have that module down for most bots. So just something to throw out there. I did run for other sites or have it set up, but I didn't really end up running much for them just because it was all at 10. And obviously the big focus at 10 is Yeezy Supply. My setup for this drop was 4 Valors. I had 3 Whatbots, and I initially had 2 Trickles. One of them just would not start. It kept getting errors and just had a lot of issues. So while I was trying to start that, it seemed fine literally right before the waiting page, splash page went up. You know, I did my best to start it, but in that 15-minute range to 10-minute range out is very busy for somebody who's running a lot of bots, because you are just really trying to get every task started before that 10-minute mark. When I run into something like Trickle just not starting, I'm not gonna, just think about this, right? It's dumb for me to put all that time into starting up Trickle when there are just other tasks that are ready that can be started, right? So I know just from experience that when I run into a bot that's just not working when I'm starting everything, let that go, right? You gotta start everything and then come back to that. So I didn't end up getting that to work. That was unfortunate. Obviously would have liked to have run one more of those. It did well for me, and I doubled the amount of bots I was running with it. Probably would have done better. So like I said, I ended up running Valor by 4, Whatbot by 3, and only 1 Trickle. Again, that's a big setup, right? I realize it, but it's not top tier big setup, but that's what I ran on the day. Overall on the day, like I mentioned, I did hit 31 pairs, or I think I mentioned that already. Whatever. I hit 31 pairs on the day. The breakdown was very even today. Sometimes I hit a bunch on one bot, a couple on the other, none on one. Today I pretty much hit 10 across the board on each bot, right? Right around 10, give or take. They all performed well for me. And just based off what I saw from other big hitters in the space that usually hit hundreds of pairs, it didn't really look like that happened today. So I think that today, you know, big botters weren't hitting hundreds of pairs. They were hitting 100, maybe less. You know, I think we'll get into some of the reasons why that may have happened. But I was thrilled with 31 on the day. Obviously, I'm always trying to get to that next level of, like, I've never hit 100 pairs on a day. Hit 70 some multiple times, 60 some multiple times, 50 plenty of times, right? But I am obviously continuing to try to improve and get to that point. That was not happening today for a lot of people. It's not to say some people didn't, but today was a day where just like I said, the big hitters that I usually see hit hundreds of pairs were hitting like 100 or around that, maybe under. So success is obviously relative, but I was happy with 31 on the day and obviously going to look to improve on the phones. So breaking down each bot a little more specifically, Valor did really well for me on the day. The one thing that I will mention with this, right? A lot of people that struggle with Valor are really struggling with their in-bot harvesters. I've had an up and down relationship with Valor just in my success, right? It always works for me, right? I always hit with it, but I don't always cook with it. And that usually comes down to the proxies and your Gmails. So what I'll say is this, right? Sometimes I think I've dropped like 4 or 5 pieces of advice on this channel, which I didn't give you any warning. Big kind of deals, really helpful. I'm not going to put it in the title. I'm just going to say it once. If you miss it, you don't watch me enough, right? Sorry. But if your Gmails aren't working in Valor and you go onto AYCD and they say S tier, A tier, and you're like, my Gmails aren't working, you need to change something. I did that for like 3 or 4 months. And eventually I changed something and they worked immediately. All I'm going to say is this. There are some companies that you purchase Gmails from which specifically say these are only guaranteed in AYCD. It says it's going to be fine. It's not for Valor. So look at what you're using proxy-wise for your Gmails. And if it hasn't been working, you need to change that, right? There's no way around it. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again with expecting a different result, right? When I was younger in this, or more of a rookie in botting, right? I'd be like, oh, well, you know, my Gmails look good, so it can't be them. It's them. Whatbot did its thing per usual for me. Again, great Yeezy supply bot. I always personally run it, AYCD. I don't think I've even tried inbot since the first time I ran it. I just think that that's the move with Whatbot, going AYCD. But the one thing I'll say is if you're struggling, I would first look at your Gmails. And I don't mean the quality necessarily, because they're obviously going to be an AYCD. In my case, they can be A's, B's, S's, right, C's, whatever. But what I'll say is this, right? A lot of people that I see not have success with Whatbot, it's because the ratio of their Gmails to their solvers is too low. Whatbot works extremely well, but it eats Gmails like nobody's business, right? You can get by on Valor with like 4 and several thousand tasks. If you have 5,000 tasks, you need like 20, 30, maybe more Gmails, right? I would personally recommend trying to shoot for a like 1 to 150 ratio. That works really well for me. Obviously, it's different with everybody, but I would just look at your Gmail ratio and work on trying to increase the amount of Gmails you have, and I think that will translate into better success for you on Whatbot. Trickle was definitely my rough spot on the day as far as my performance and how I did with every bot. It came out of the gate really strong, right? I think it got me my first checkout, and out of my first like 15 checkouts, I think pretty much all of them were on Trickle. I got 10 checkouts, and it was rolling, like I said, and we were barely into the drop, and then it just stopped moving, right? Everybody said, you know, or I was having issues too, even signing in. You'll see this in video. My bad, I should have said this first. But the initial issue I had was I'd open up Trickle and I'd have AYCD programmed in there, and it would ask me to sign into a CAPTCHA. And I'm like, what? So that made me think I'd made a mistake. I don't know if that was just a bug in the system at the time, because once I had done that and I X'd out on the solver and Trickle just started running, it was all good. But that threw me off at first. That was not a good way to start, seeing that and just seeing something you're not used to seeing that you know is out of place. But the bot was working. Like I said, it froze, and then I restarted it, and I didn't do a thing after that. So that was unfortunate. Like I said, I wish I would have run 2, because I possibly could have hit around 40. But, you know, you live and you learn. But as far as Trickle, right, it did work, but I'm lucky I got those first like 10 checkouts quick, because from what I saw, for the most part, it didn't really work that well once people restarted it, and that was the case for me. So it was unfortunate that that went down, but, you know, what can you do? That's not really something I personally have control over. All right, so the topic that most of y'all want to hear the review on most of the times is the proxies. This was definitely different. If you have listened to me regularly, and you've been listening to me for 8 months now or whatever, or more, you're aware that I consistently say, like, ISPs are the go-to on Yeezy supply, right? But there's like 2 months out of the year where residentials just absolutely outperform it. Those 2 months usually are like blocked, in my experience, and this, somebody can tell me if I'm off on this, but this is what I've kind of seen in my mind play out over the past year, is ISPs are the best, right? Just straight up. But every couple months, every like 3-4 months, I'm pretty sure that the site kind of catches on to which ranges they're using and pretty much shuts them down. I think that the proxy companies then have to make some adjustments, and they're good to go for 3, 4, 5 more months before this little kind of rough patch happens. Yesterday signified the start of the rough patch. I personally think if you watch this before tomorrow, you're gonna have like 12 hours to do so. I think residentials are gonna cook again. I don't think that this is enough time for companies to make adjustments, but I do think after this drop, they will adjust their ranges, they'll be different, and they won't be banned, and they won't be as, they won't perform as lackadaisically, let's say. Now, should you not run ISPs? I'm still going to run ISPs, but I am planning tomorrow on running far heavier on residentials. And then quite frankly, I plan on going back to running mostly ISPs. But I've seen this play out now a couple times over the past 1.5 years, 2 years. So that's my take on the situation from the data I'm kind of taking in. I think that they will work again very well tomorrow. I would run them heavy. I usually run mostly ISPs on Yeezy supply, and that is not going to be the case tomorrow. I am running some dailies, but I'm running heavy on residentials. So I could be completely wrong, and they could not work at all. But just based off my experience and what my opinion, I think that tomorrow residentials will work really well. And then we have a little while until we have any profitable Yeezy drops later on in September or October. So just remember that. Take that with a grain of salt. It's not a fact. That's literally just my opinion. I'm not telling you something I've heard out from other people, but that's kind of what I think. So I will run residentials much harder tomorrow as opposed to ISPs, which is usually my go-to move on Yeezy supply. Now, which proxies work for me personally on the slides? The best, based again, you should know what I'm about to say, residentials. Lemon and Diamond hit me like a little over 15, a little over half the pairs I hit on Lemon and Diamond residentials. Those absolutely cooked for me, did a great job. Like I said, that was the majority of my pair, or slight majority, right over 50% worked from those residentials. I also hit with COMET, which again is like Live. If you ever heard of Live, you should use COMET instead. They're better. Just my opinion on that, but I use them. That's considered a residential. I consider it like a residential on steroids. I consider it a hybrid. I personally don't judge them the same. Some people do, but I hit a couple with COMET, hit a couple with OCULUS, and hit a couple with Hex. Those are all residentials, right? With COMET being metered residentials. So, residentials got me about 70-80% of my pairs. I did hit on ISPs. I hit a couple on Porter, I hit a couple on Proxy Heaven, and I hit a couple on Ping. But I usually hit like 80% of my pairs with those ISPs, and this kind of flip-flop today. I really hit like only 20-30% ISPs. Majority were residentials. So again, if you need access to residentials, I have links to all of those companies in the info section below. And like I said, I just think that moving towards residentials tomorrow is going to be a good move for anybody that's botting, but that is what I think will happen. I think that that is a big reason why some of the bigger hitters in the space didn't hit on this drop as hard as they typically do, because the best botters in this space on Yeezy supply aren't running residentials, right? They're running subnets. And that, most of the time, is the move. But this was not one of those days. So just keep that in mind. It is always a good idea to run a mix of proxies because of this. But I'll be honest with you, if you look at the people that are the biggest botters in the space, they're not running that many residentials on Yeezy supply. It's not to say that residentials aren't worth buying. They definitely have their place. And if I was starting off, I would be buying residentials instead of ISPs. But if you're looking for reasons why people didn't hit as big of clips, I would say that's why. If residentials are racking up 80% of the checkouts and somebody's running all ISPs, it's not to say that they're not going to hit, but they're not going to have the success they typically have. So I think that's why we saw the checkout success or lack thereof from the biggest botters in the space. And I think that's why some of the people who were surprised at their success was because they run all residentials. So it is a good idea to run a mix. But like in an ideal world, I would just run all ISPs pretty much every drop, right? I would take an L hard on one or two of those drops, but most drops I'm going to do better. So, you know, it's a tough decision, but running a mix is a good idea. But again, most of the time ISPs are going to be more effective. All right, on to Gmails, which again, if I had to say one thing that beginner botters need to work on, it's improving their Gmail quality, or then the proxies that they're using. Now, with that being said, right, I've made a lot of progress in the past 6 or so months because I've started to buy Gmails in bulk and farm them on my own subnets. That is not something I would necessarily recommend to somebody who's just starting out, who quite frankly doesn't know what they're doing. That would have not been appropriate for me to do years ago. It is now. So again, I've got several hundred one-clicks now, and again, some of those I've purchased over time, some I've made on my own, but that's really helped, right? Like I said, if you want to max out Whatbot, Gmail-wise, you're going to need 30, 40 Gmails, right? Like, that's a lot. You don't need that for every bot, but the more of those you have, the more you can run. If you've got 10 bots and 50 Gmails, you don't have 10 bots. You might own 10 bots, but you're not running 10 bots because you can't run them all unless they're all Valor on 50 Gmails, right? So just think about that. Think about how you can keep improving, not only in botting, but improving your resources, where you're getting them from and how much they cost. If, with the Gmails, right, if you need them now and you need them tomorrow, you can't take the route of planning down the road and planting trees now that you're going to use years down the line, right? You can't do that. But if you are planning to be in this long term, I would recommend trying to do that so that you have hundreds of them that are really good quality that have always been farmed on your AYCD. If you are in a rush or a beginner, right, go to Vanished or go to BLISS Gmails, right? Both of those are companies that I work with. I've used both of their Gmails successfully. I use one of their I use BLISS API keys for my Trickle sometimes. That was unfortunately the Trickle that I couldn't start up, which has nothing to do with the Gmails, right? But both of those are good companies, right? If you need Gmails quickly and you need them for like tomorrow or the next week, buy them from there, right? Those are two really good quality companies. But if you are really planning long term, right, think about how you can do a better job of acquiring the resources you need at a lower price and just a better quality. So just something to think about. One big takeaway from this week, Yeezy day or confirmed day, and just the general momentum that seems to be building, is the issue that we're having with confirmed. Now, if you don't know what confirmed is essentially the Nike sneakers app of Adidas. The issue being, we can't really bot confirmed that well. Now, I believe the stock ended up being around 30 some K, 31K. And I think that there was 31K, but like half of it was on confirmed, half of it was on Yeezy supply. I have seen a stock numbers for the foams tomorrow floating around 40K. I've seen some in the high 30s, some in the low 40s, seen some in the not 50s, seen some in the low 30s, right? So I don't know. I try to not, base everything I'm going to do off that, because oftentimes those are fake or just not accurate. But let's say that they do the same thing tomorrow, we might end up with 20K on Yeezy supply. It's not that much, but it's substantial. It's a significant chunk. But the writing is on the wall, right? Like, they're trying to move to confirmed. With that being said, I am working right now on getting Osiris. I have Osiris, so I'm not getting it back. I've had it for 2 or 3 years now. But I am working on starting to deploy confirmed accounts. I have a buddy who is entering 300 accounts or so on Osiris for tomorrow. I'm just waiting to hear back from him. If 1 or 2 of those hits, right, I'm diving in head first, and I'm going to be doing that with him. So something to think about. You can make them on your own. You can build up activity on them. And Osiris does have a module for them, and I anticipate other bots will come out with a module soon. I will keep you all updated on that, since that's definitely a big thing within Yeezy botting, and just let you know how that's going. I would anticipate I get accounts this weekend regardless, and I start working on trying to get them deployed by the time that we have another good drop around the end of September, beginning of October. So just something to think about. There are a lot of people who are making moves towards working on confirmed and just doing a better job of hitting confirmed. And I'm just waiting for a little confirmation from what works, what hasn't, and then I'm going to be getting into that. Like I said, I'll make a video on that in the coming weeks. Definitely a tough drop though. I know a lot of people that were really looking to hit 10, 15, 20, hit like 1 or none. I heard from a lot of people that I know are quite competent at botting that just did not do well. So, try to keep your head up, right? Try to continue to learn through taking L's, right? It's really difficult after you do poorly, after spending hours setting up and putting all this energy into it and getting all riled up and then nothing. But like, trust me, I've been there. I talked to somebody earlier this week because I'm just working on scaling the Amazon portion of my business with the botting, right? I'm really just trying to exploit the sneaker resale market as much as possible and get the most out of it. But you need to make money where you can right now, right? And you need to be honest with yourself. I know right now that there's a lot of people that are trying to bot, that are losing money and just burying their head in the sand. There are other ways to make money reselling sneakers. I mentioned with this person I was talking to that I don't think if you're initially getting into sneaker botting, I think right now is a terrible time. I am not going to be one to tell you not to try, because I remember reading all of the content, watching Botter Boy Nova, right? Watching all these people and them saying how hard it was. In my mind, I was like, that's cool. The harder it is, the less people are going to actually do it, right? The more barriers to entry there are, the less people that are going to do it, right? So I'm somebody who views that as a positive because I know I'll do the work, but it's difficult right now. So just have an honest assessment with yourself. Try to not get upset about not hitting if you're not. Try to not get upset about losing money if you are, right? I've been there, right? I've been there, but you've got to go make money where you can. Hit stores, right? Look at other selling platforms. Look at selling at stores. Look at selling at conventions. Look at selling on random websites like Poshmark and Mercari. There are ways, right? But you've got to be genuinely curious about finding those ways if you're going to make it. So again, just try to keep your head up, right? I know this is a tough time for a lot of people in this space, but again, try to be reasonable, right? Don't get too far out over your skis with bots, proxies, Gmails, right? I know I say to purchase certain things, but that's not just one size fits all advice. You need to look at your situation. Try to cut costs where you can and just try to do the best you can, because again, like, do all companies thrive in a recession? Absolutely not. But the good ones make it. And when you make it through one, that's where the winners are. So again, are some people that are just getting into this game going to win big right now? No. But when it's down, the market's down like this, it's not about winning big. For most people, it's about surviving. So, look at your costs, look at where you're buying from, see if you can switch anything up, right? Do the best you can right now and get through it. But again, don't take these L's too hard. It's not that you can't do it, it's that you made a mistake or that you didn't do things right at that time. We can fix that. Just wanted to give a quick shout out to ZESTY servers, the great company that I just started working with for servers. And they, I used several other servers on this drop and they all did outstanding. Again, I really try to consistently be bringing sponsors and companies to y'all that I'm proud to work with, right? There have been a couple sponsors along the way that I haven't continued to work with because of things I've seen just from a customer service perspective, how they treat other members, how they conduct business, right? So I'm not saying that certain companies have been assholes to me, but look, I can't get down in a lot of situations with promoting a company and then people that trust me going to them and them treating them like shit, right? So obviously I know that some people do, it's whatever, I'm not gonna do that. So I do think ZESTY is a great company. Like I said, if you're looking for servers, they have great options. Definitely check them out. The info will be in the information section below. And as of right now and just moving forward, that's what I'm using for servers. So if you need one of those, definitely check them out. And per usual, thank you to all of my sponsors. Great group of just providers, right? Proxies, Gmails, FLX Accounts, servers, whatever the case may be, right? Anything you need, you can find in those companies down there. Again, I say this every single time because it's the truth. I don't work with a single company that I wouldn't use with if I wasn't sponsored. So if I wasn't sponsored, would I still use this company, right? And then also a lot of the companies I worked with prior to being anybody, right? So I don't think I'm somebody now. I'm still a nobody. I sell freaking sneakers. But what I'm trying to say is like 90% of the companies that I work with or are sponsored by, I was using prior to being sponsored by them. So it's not that I was like, hey, these guys suck and I'm just gonna get some free proxies from them. Nope, it's stuff that I really use that will really work. So anything you see me using in a video, pretty much all of it is sponsored because I believe in those companies and I believe in their products. So check them out. Like I said, if you need proxies, whether that's Resis, ISPs, dailies, CAPTCHA, servers, Gmails, FLX Accounts, all of that is down there, bot rentals. So check that out if you need anything. And let me know if you have any questions on what would be best for certain situations. And before I move on to the footage and just kind of close out this portion of the video, I just wanted to make one announcement and one minor announcement. The first one is if you have stuck with me up to this point watching just literally me being filmed on a camera and then the screen, most of the time I didn't even have a mic, right? If you have stuck with me, thank you. I appreciate it. I've started to work with a video editor just now within the past couple days, and hopefully very soon these will look a lot better, right? I literally told myself when I got into this like a year and a couple months ago, I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna worry about the quality of the videos at first, right? I'm really not. It's not even gonna be a thing on my radar. People can say what they want, right? Whatever. I'm gonna provide quality information on a regular basis for over a year before I at all look at the video quality. I think that's about time. So hopefully, right, to those of you who are looking for a little better production value, that is on the way. So that is good. I'm also really excited. I think the next video or two I drop, I can fully verbalize who this partnership is with. But I am partnering with one of the bigger people, companies, provider, whatever word you want to use. I'm partnering with one of them. Just moving forward. So I'm really, really excited to announce that. It's not going to be today. Might be in the next couple of videos, but I have a really big partnership and just sponsorship that I have to announce soon. That's really exciting and I'm thrilled about. So just wanted to put that out there, right? Hopefully video quality is improving because of the video editor, and I'll keep trying to provide quality information, but hopefully the look of the channel will be a lot more professional in the very near future. Anyways, that's all for this portion of today's video. Per usual, thank you for following me. Like I said, I've been doing this a little over a year now, and I really appreciate y'all taking the time out of your day, night, life to just watch me kind of ramble about sneakers. I really hope it's helpful. If you want to see content on a daily basis from me, you can go on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. I have the handles in the information section below. You can check me out there. And if I met you at SneakerCon, it was a pleasure to meet you. I know I met a lot of people that I talk to on here on a regular basis, sold to on Instagram, right? Definitely met a lot of people. I saw a couple people say that they didn't get a chance to say what's up. Be pushy, right? I don't mind. I just really, when I'm walking around, I'm like, hey, I'm a nobody. Nobody knows who I am because I don't right? And apparently some people wanted to say what's up that I've heard online, but whatever. Come say what's up. I know SneakerCon DC is over. I'm going to be at Got Sole in New York Saturday and Sunday, maybe both days. I'm definitely going to go one day. So definitely come say what's up if you see me. I promise you, I have RBF, right? I'm not an asshole. So come say what's up if you see me. It was a pleasure to meet those of you who I, have kind of met on here and talked to for a long time. But long story short, right? Come say what's up to me if you see me at Got Sole. And I am going to be going to a lot more of those conventions and shows in the future, just to sell, and just to network, and just kind of build my profile within this community. So definitely come say what's up. Like I mentioned, that's all I've got for this portion of the video. I wish you all the best of luck tomorrow on the foams. I'll be running heavy for that, and hopefully you do well. And until next time, that's all I've got for you today. Check back in a couple days for the video from SneakerCon DC and the live cop for tomorrow with the foams. And until next time, see ya. Anybody else's trickle? My trickle's asking me for harvester windows when I'm rocking AYCD. I don't know what that is. Yeah, I don't know if mine kept asking me for the harvester windows even though I got AYCD in there, so it looks like it's running now, but I don't know. Yeah, that's what mine's saying now. Resi boy. Fillets. I'm all on YS. Your server just crashed. Are you getting banned or are you getting the bans? You've been drinking Pedialyte all morning? Me too, my friend. All right, so I'm going to talk over them for a minute. We'll see how we do. I got my Valor fired up. One of my trickles was not working. Yeah, my trickle just ran into a brick wall. Now it's rolling. Trickle's rolling. Leave it be. You hit? Nordstrom's. Hit the rack. Did they limited the task count on DSG to 100 today? So they went from unlimited to 100? Seems like quite the switch. How you already splish splashing? Okay, Whatbot? How many captures y'all solved already? I'm at 700. Holy shit. Whatbot solving captures out the ass. Yeah, you're off and running. Hey, I got my first fake pass of the day. Only like 300 to go. I'm gonna take a bath. I gotta check out on Trickle. Who's taking a poop in the bed? Yeah, Whatbot's starting to pass for me. Got to. Okay, I just hit 5. I got 2 more. I got 2 more on Trickle. Are you rocking inbot? If you're doing inbot, you can't. If you're doing inbot, do not use. Okay, I'm just saying if people use them and you use their proxies, they like ping differently and they for a long time. Come on, man. I can't be having these cards decline. Videos. All right, so far I've hit with Lemon, Proxy Heaven, Lemon, Hex, Lemon, Porter. We are cooking. I got 5 checkouts on Trickle. Jasmine Huber too. All right, Jasmine Huber, you gotta go. Jasmine Huber. Means your ass. Hey, just hit 3 more. I'm running 17 and up. Yep. Hey, I hit 2 more size 17s. Let's go. I'm getting a lot of declines. Let's see how AYCD is doing. Sheesh, we sold a lot. Hit another one on Valor. Hit another one on Valor. Yes. We'll check out a couple of my other instances. All right, so looks like I ended up with about, sorry, just reading this. All right, looks like I hit about 30, give or take. I got to count them up. Hit about 10 on, it seems like I hit about 10 on each. Had 10 on Trickle, and I know I got to count up the Whatbots and the Valors, and I know I missed 1 or 2 because I didn't have a webhook in there at first. So probably around 30, give or take. Might be high 20s, might be low 30s. I will count them up. Yeah, not the best, but it does seem like it went really quickly. But sorry, I'm just like looking at the page right now. Sorry, I should ask about kids.